Here we go. Round one scheduled for 12 for Pernell Whitaker's WBC Welterweight Championship. Before 63,000.
Contrary on your opponent.
Yes, sir.
Has landed. This is the kind of stuff that's going to make Whitaker think a little bit, maybe speed up his pace a little bit, because you don't take. Whereas Chavez, look,
he himself could be frustrated with
from foreign countries. Oh, good action.
That's body shots.
But that could bode well more for Chavez. Chavez looking to bore in.
Punching away now. Another good shot.
Round two in the books. Round three. Whitaker with the jab.
With the jab on our way in and grab you and hold on. And this is something Whitaker looks like he may be doing. Certainly his best round so far. Good bite, right hand to the body as well. Just roll with the punch as well, so it minimizes the shots. A good right hook.
Good right hand by Whitaker.
Well, here you see that jab eventually gets in Chavez's way and sets up combinations where he can work off him.
Falling and mauling by Pernell Whitaker. Whitaker's hand and foot speed doing the job, and now the crowd booing lustily.
I don't totally understand.
But Chavez unloading. Got him in the midsection.
Taking the offensive. Nice right hand. Was that out of a football field or something?
It looked like a cross forearm.
Joe Frazier certainly did to Ali in his fights. That's 2 rounds, and now this fight's even.
And Chavez, very much aware of that, comes out storming to begin round 5. Relentlessly. But back comes Whitaker.
The judges, how do they judge the big body shots and the little, but how do they score them?
Chavez who are England and Smodome in San Antonio.
He is dropping his hand to get him down near his ribcage, and it likes to just fight and be a man's man.
Dancing southpaw. Whitaker just came through with a nice flurry of uppercuts, but he is resigned.
Some of those uppercuts, what they call a shoe shine, they just throw them real quick and flashy, and they're for more of a visual effect than they ought to be effective.
Chavez winning this round up to this point. Only had 11 seconds to go. Got a little breath of fresh air here. And so did Sweeper.
Yes, both of them.
Nice exchange there.
Chavez at this point had already won the round pretty big. He didn't need to go any further with this. Just a little shoe shining there. Nothing.
Round 6 scheduled for 12. The WBC Welterweight Championship. The fight.
Well, he squatted down. He slipped on that, and he touched the cap. Oh, good shot.
Low.
But good shot away from harm's way.
And then landing with the left hand. Whitaker.
Shots are going to mount up.
The low blow by Whitaker.
That was an incredible shot. He thrust the left uppercut.
Defects Chavez. Oh, again.
Another one. Right back.
That's 2.
That was
Right
not
back.
central. That was somewhere near. But Chavez getting infuriated, and he
Big right hand.
He connected to the face of Whitaker. Whitaker backpedaling and shooting out jabs. But the on-right.
Here comes that cat and mouse game again in the corner.
A little after the bell.
Keep punching as you've done all along.
Whitaker has never had a knockout past the 7th round. Let's see what happens in Chavez country. Whitaker nearly picked up at the hip. Joe Cortez has continued.
Joe Cortez is losing control of this.
I hit him on top of the head, right in the top of the cranium. It's not an illegal shot, and it hurts like hell.
It's hard to penetrate the cranium of Julio Cesar Chavez, who I think Pernell Whitaker is discovering that.
Pernell Whitaker has been getting in some tough shots here. Tough shots on Chavez.
Chavez landing as Whitaker tried to get away.
Good, solid balance.
Left hook there by Whitaker.
I'll tell you what, right now, things don't look good for Chavez.
No.
Whitaker's getting too much steam going, and he's going to pull.
All right, let's take a look at Whitaker. Look at that shot, right in there.
Again, Whitaker's being sharp, using the jab, boom, right on the button.
If he could punch, Bobby, when something lands.
As it comes out for round 8.
I saw something not only in the last round, but I saw him on the stool.
It's because of a bad back. Left hand there got in by Whitaker.
Stronger as the round goes on. He's actually appearing to be a little weaker here. And as this is happening, Whitaker's taking a little more control, getting a little more accurate, and I'm carving a place under the ring.
Himself back into this fight, and I would be surprised if the judge from Texas doesn't have my head. I'll be surprised about that.
The other judges, England and Switzerland. Chavez now continues to come forward, but he is getting belted off of uppercuts by Whitaker.
Oh, another
blow there.
blow. I'll tell you
Oh,
what.
Whitaker landing to the head of Chavez. A clean shot, flush on the face. Chavez stopped dead in his tracks.
Whitaker is just pummeling Chavez, something I thought we'd...
Whitaker continues to have his way with the seemingly invincible Julio Cesar Chavez, undefeated, 87-0. Whitaker oozing with confidence.
His hand speed is what happened in the Meldrick Taylor fight, which was that he went so far behind he needed a big finish, and that's what's happened.
Finished to pull this one out as we head for the bell.
At the tremendous job Whitaker is doing. A body shot, another shot to the face, and away he goes. A more punching, and away he goes. Meldrick Taylor.
Later in the round, he's doing the same thing. He's actually taking it to Chavez at certain points, pushing.
Say Buffalo Martin as we begin round 9. When was the last time you actually uttered those words, Ferdy?
Yeah.
Chavez could be in a losing cause. Right hand by Chavez.
A little bit of wobble in Pee Wee's legs just now, but he's fighting back.
He's trying to just get the motor started here and let loose with the...
his emotion, and he's not fighting in intelligence.
Tag Whitaker with the right hand. Whitaker with a wild miss. Is this a turning point here in round 9?
He's got this round in his hands if he just starts to throw more punches like that.
Again, Whitaker.
Right hands, some terrific body shots, and Pee Wee slowed up a little bit, but hey, it's been a tremendous...
He couldn't keep that steam going that he did before. Nice little punch by Pee Wee. Again, the strap.
Oh, left hand. Crisp left hook there by Whitaker.
Counter punch.
Wild finish to round 9. Pernell Sweet Pete Whitaker, for the most part, has had his way. Combinations.
Bobby, you may be right. Tired, fatigued on the part of Chavez. He's tentative. He's tentative. Chavez is not throwing. He's not leading. He's waiting for the other guy to get off.
He may need another Meldrick Taylor-like finish.
Slapping shots by Whitaker. 3-1 in favor of Chavez.
Outspeeding him.
Steal these last 2 rounds. And the same thing being said over in Chavez's corner to set the stage for round 11. Winner of world titles as a pro.
Desperation is beginning to be written all over Chavez's face.
We've just been informed that the odds are 20-1 on a draw in Las Vegas. And wouldn't you like to be sitting
The fight.
Well, the answer is he didn't take it. He looks nice and nice right hand. Left.
Whitaker with the left hand crisply.
And look at the punishment that Whitaker inflicts here. He's in command. His punches are crisp.
even just that little sneaky quick stuff hurts, rocks, moves your head.
Read the judges' minds, but it appears as if Julio Cesar Chavez may need a miracle finish here.
Whitaker, but the referee said nothing.
Even God can only be so gracious, I suppose.
Well, he followed your dicta. He tried to hit him on the top of the head.
Whitaker continues to impress. Chavez tries to spin him around, but
The ring generalship is clearly in his favor.
good left hand by Whitaker.
If Chavez loses this fight, I predict he will retire.
Oh, he's got his own title to defend in December.
Yes, still the super lightweight champion. What a surprise here at the Alamo Dome. San Antonio. History. It could be history in the making.
scores the bout 115 to 113 in favor of Whitaker. Judges at ringside, Mickey Van and Franz Marty. Both score the bout the same, 115 to 115, a draw. The decision is a majority decision draw.
A draw, and you can see the reaction of Sweet Pea Whitaker. He can't believe it, and frankly, I can't either.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Focus TV. As you guys saw, how we started today's show, we want to pay tribute to the late Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. He passed Sunday night after being hit by a car in Virginia Beach, Virginia. He was 55 years old. So, you know, we just wanted to pay our respects to the Virginia legend. He had a record of 44-1, a couple controversial losses, and 17 knockouts. I think one of the coolest things is Sean Cardell yesterday, just taking some time to retweet. We'll post some videos of fights, and then I think the best part for me was just what his peers had to say about him. Really speaks, especially in boxing. Glowing words from your peers mean so much in a sport where, I mean, corruption is like air, you know. So I guess for me, one of the things, you know, with Sweet Pea, growing up watching him, you know, I know everyone talks about Floyd as a defensive fighter. Sweet Pea before that. So nice with it defensively. A lot of people recognize him for his wizardry on that end, but he was a very well-rounded fighter. Another thing that was kind of like a signature to him, that jab. It was real. It's one of those things, defense and that jab. Very saddened that he passed. Obviously, nothing but prayers and love to his family. But I mean, I'm definitely happy that I got a chance to watch him coming up. If you guys share anything.
I mean, it's definitely a big loss, you know. Like, he literally came in the game, like how we grew up on Jordan. It's the same type of thing. Matter of fact, he lasted long. He fought until 2001. And probably next to Tyson, obviously, Ray Leonard being from here, even though he was kind of older and whatever, during that time span, he was must see. It was like when he fought, everything, I know from my family, because I come from a boxing family, everything shut down. Kids go to bed early. We watching, we would sneak downstairs anyway to watch. As long as we shut up, they ain't mind. But that's what it was. And like you said, the sweet science, he had it all. If you want to nitpick his ability, the only thing he probably didn't have was knockout power. He didn't knock a lot of people out. But the way he pit-pat you over 12 to 15 rounds, it didn't matter. You see what I'm saying? He'll wear you down, and then that he'll take you out or beat you on the scorecard. You know, for me, top 5 fighter all time for me personally, well, Ali, Tyson, Ray Leonard, and Roy Jones Jr. So it's just, you know, a big loss. And the thing I love is, you know, Roy Jones is my favorite fighter. And just to hear what he had to say, because he was kind of the precursor for Roy Jones, in a lot of ways being best pound for pound. The thing he had to say is what's missing, not just in boxing, across sports, and it's starting to become okay, which I hate. He didn't duck anybody. It's like, oh, you want to see me in the ring? Let's get it on. I don't care how much it costs. If you feel like you can beat me, let's get it on. And he was a man of few words. He didn't say much. He, you know what I'm saying, he spoke when he had to, but when it was on, it was on. And he took pride in beating the hell out of people. And the thing I love about it, he definitely gave back to his community as far as, you know, being from Southern Virginia and whatnot, you know, the Norfolk area. I mean, it was plenty of times he brought big fights back to the local arena in his hometown and would come out to one of the HBCU bands. That's another thing, just to showcase, you know, those guys and stuff, you know, the band, and come out to that just to, you know, give his hometown, you know, some love and stuff. And it's just that, but the wars, man, it's the wars, you know what I'm saying? Julio Cesar Chavez, man, people don't understand, like, how vicious he was. That's why a lot of boxers get upset when Floyd be calling himself the greatest. He's like, man, you duck fights purposely until they was a few years too late. Then you want to pounce on him. Julio Cesar Chavez came at 87-0 in his prime, and a lot of people don't know the backstory of why Pernell kind of took that fight personal. It was a close friend of his that fought Julio Cesar Chavez before, and Chavez nearly beat him to death. You know what I'm saying? Like he was pretty much drinking his own blood. They said he swallowed like 2 pints of blood before he finally passed out in the ring, so he almost died. So it was even more personal for Pernell. Like if you look at the press conference, you know, Julio Cesar Chavez talking trash, you know, doing what they got to do. My man had on, Pernell had on headphones, he ain't even one head. And when reporters asked him questions like, is this personal, trying to, you know, because of what he did, Chavez did to his friend, he like, I don't even want to answer that question. He would answer any question but that. So it was serious. So when he got in the ring, it was on. And that's the thing, the competitive edge. Just it's certain guys. When you look at certain great athletes across sports, it's a very select few that got that will where they rather die than lose. Yeah. And a lot of people get that misconstrued. Those are dogs to me. You see, I think a lot of people call being competitive 1 game, 1 year, whatever, call that dog. No, it's consistent. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter who's against the odds. They come up with the same focus. Like I'd rather die than lose. And you see it with him, you know, obviously Ali, you know what I'm saying? Like basketball, you see it with Jordan, those guys, Bird, you know, Wayne Gretzky in hockey. It's just certain athletes that, now you're going to have to kill me before I just sit here and let you beat me. And he was one of those guys, and that's why I took him further. And, you know, and really, he got, out of his 4 losses, he got robbed for 3 of them. He beat De La Hoya, but he was kind of the golden good guy coming up. They wanted to promote him and stuff. And the thing is, Julio Cesar Chavez, they robbed him of those 2 fights. Both fighters wanted a rematch because they knew in their hearts, like, you know as a fighter when you get got, even though the judges may rule it another way. And they both wanted a rematch. Both of their promoters said no. Because they knew, like, it was coming, so they don't want to do that. So they got robbed, and that's the thing. That's how dangerous he was. He really only lost to Felix Trinidad. You know, Trinidad was the young lion. He was ready to go, and Father Time had kicked in. But, you know, that's just, you know, the greatness of him, that he can last damn near 20 years at not just boxing, at an elite level of boxing, being unified, winning belts at 4 weight classes. You don't see that anymore, man. And the closest fighter I could think of now that kind of is in that mode is Bud Crawford. That's the only dude where he like, man, let's get the fight on. And he'd say if he was sitting here interviewing now, be like, yo, Errol Spence can beat you. He'd be like, well, call Errol Spence and let's get it on. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like you can see his whole demeanor changes, and I love that. That's what boxing is about. That's what sports is about. It's about being competitive, the best going against the best, and let's see who wins. And I think we getting away from that, and that's why it's such a great loss. And then he became a great trainer. You see what I'm saying? Passing the tools he had on to the next generation and stuff. So the work ethic, he had it all, man. He was a complete fighter. There was really no weaknesses, and that's why, you know, he's one of the greatest of all time.
He embodied this sweet science. Literally embodied it. All right, so we got a lot for you guys on tonight's show. Well, I mean, we got a long rapid fire segment, so I'm not
yeah, man.
But before we get to that, obviously we got to get going with our WNBA segment with Washington Mystics. I mean, it seems like every time they play the Las Vegas Aces, some craziness happens. We had an earthquake. This time it was shot clocks didn't work. It just literally, if they meet, something's not going to go right. Whether it be from a natural disaster standpoint or just, you know, technical. But in this one, Las Vegas, they rallied from a very poor start because Washington came out on fire in the first quarter. Looks like, you know, the Washington team we've seen at times this year that was very dominant. But that only lasted for a quarter. The Aces were able to rally, come back, and hold on to beat the Mystics 85-81. Asia Wilson, Sydney Colson led the way with 17 points apiece. Kelly McBride with 16. Liz Cambage with 13. It was a career high in points for Sydney Colson. A little bit more about her later. Natasha Cloud led Washington with 18 points. Christy Tyler and Emma Mieseman had 15 as well. It was Emma's first game back since getting back from Eurobasket, and she looked okay. Latoya Sanders finished, she chipped in with 11 points and 10 rebounds, so she did have a double-double. But again, I told you guys we're going to get to Sydney Colson. We talk all the time, and I know, obviously I just told you guys she had a career high in points. It was just so much, her impact was so much bigger than that point total. Literally, Washington was imposing their will on that game. They were playing the way that they wanted to play. Sydney Colson comes in the second quarter. All of that stops. So we talk about, you know, responsibilities as a point guard, the different ways you can impact your team. And on both ends, Sydney came in on offense. She used her quickness to get to the basket at will, drawing fouls since no one can stay in front of her. Drawing fouls, last time I checked, that slows the game down a little bit, right? Obviously puts people in foul trouble. That allows you, as the visitors in a hostile situation, in a hostile environment, allows you to kind of settle down. She was a steadying hand for the Las Vegas Aces. Defensively, her ball pressure was crazy. Really got into Washington's ball handlers. And you know, you're trying to run your offense. The further out you ever turn on a basketball game, the further out someone's initiating their offense, the defense has a hand in that. You don't want to start initiating actions at half court. That's not by choice. That's because someone is forcing you to do that. So Colston, you know, they were able to rally. Huge second quarter for the Aces. Go into the second half, and you know, the third quarter teams just traded punches. But in the fourth, Colston, you know, her teammates really kicked in the fourth. That big, strong front line kind of started, you know, it started paying its toll, started wearing down Washington's, and still Washington had opportunities. But the Aces defense, some bad decisions, and A'ja Wilson made a couple of big shots late. The Aces maintained their hold on first place. For the Mystics, despite the loss, they're still third in league standings. But Cardell, you know, some takeaways from the game?
I like you. Colston, she disrupted the game defensively with her speed and her quickness. I think when she got in the game, who she ripped Cloud, was it Cloud or Tolliver?
At half court, it was Cloud.
When she ripped Cloud at half court, it kind of it was a switch. Like Cloud was balling, and she was full of confidence. And then as soon as Sydney came in, the way she ripped her, it was just like it wasn't the same type of confidence that came with it. You know what I'm saying? Because like I'm looking at the box on the first half, Cloud was 4 for 7. She finished 6 for 15. So in the second half, she shot 2 for 8, and that's Colston. So she disrupted Cloud, which disrupted the Mystics' ability to get in their offense, and that's why you saw a lot of hurried shots and stuff like that, which the ball talked about. It hurried up, it sped them up in the half court, and also with her defense stifling and everything like that, getting turnovers, and it stopped their ability to run. Now, obviously, you got A'ja and Cambage back there, so if you a guard, you can put more pressure on it because you know you got bigs back there that can clean things up if you get beat. But it was consistent after that. Like she pretty much cut the head off the snake, and the Mystics couldn't recover. And also one thing, I also looked at the 3-point shooting. The Aces went to their bread and butter. They pounded inside consistently throughout the game. They shot 4 for 12, which is not great, but they didn't shoot themselves out of the game. The Mystics, when they needed a bucket from somebody, they didn't. With Delandon out, it was like, who can we go to? They didn't really quite know who to go to try to get that bucket, and they shot 7 for 28 from 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is, when you're not hitting from 3, you know how I feel, man. Y'all got to find some other way to get it done. You see what I'm saying? Obviously, they shot kind of the same percentage. The Mystics shot 38%. The Aces shot 42%. Pretty much everything else was even the free throws. You know, you look at, I know the Aces out-rebounding them 41-33. They got a slight edge, but it was only a 4-point game. I just feel like if it was better shot selection down the stretch and in the second half, Mystics could have pulled this one out. But settling them for so many threes, which they can make, but you just have to recognize on the nights when you don't have it, you know, you got to switch to southpaw. You got to go to somewhere else. And I think, you know, maybe some mid-range jumpers in there would have helped. Obviously, Tiana Hawkins was due. She's been consistent all year, going 0 for 8. She was due to have a bad game, but she was dealing with 2 monsters, you know what I'm saying, without Delandon to help her out. So, you know, it was a winnable game, but just little things is the reason why they lost. And I think they clean it up, they bounce back and be fine.
Yeah, like Tebow made it clear at the end of the game, it's not the end of the world for Washington. Obviously, there's bigger things at stake down the line. Like, keep in mind that I don't have the exact number, but Emma and Elena have played obviously less than 5 games together.
Yeah, it's work in progress. And also to give Colston, it wasn't even just her on-ball defense. She was literally swarming where, like, my best analogy for what people can understand is when you at a cookout, you about to eat, and a fly just keep flying around your dang food. You waving, it's just here, and you can't get this fly. That's how it was. And she was even, the way she dig down, she was coming from across the court, bothering the bigs when they was trying to make that move, like just hitting the ball, slapping the ball away. And now when the bigs get the ball in future possessions, they rushing, which is exactly what happened. So she disrupted them. Bill Lambert, that was the first thing he did. He in post game gave him full credit. Her speed and quickness. He said it flat out. The Mystics had no answer for it. So You gotta give credit where credit is due. You know, that's why you coach, man. You make changes, you adapt, and you try to find a way to win a game. And that was something, win the game. That's something that the Mystics will have to be concerned with, because other teams might try to take that blueprint and try to beat them.
Definitely. And Washington gets a few days off. I believe Elena just got cleared. So we're expecting her to play this Friday on the road against Indiana. Then they come back home Sunday to host Atlanta. So again, if they take care of business, that's, that could be 2 wins before you head to the All-Star break. So before we leave this segment, I do want to say, congrats are in order for a couple players, a few players in the league. Congrats to Lynx center Sylvia Fowles. She became the league leader in double-doubles with 158. Congrats to Candace Dupree. She is supremely underrated.
Yes.
Her career, oh my God, she does not get enough credit and or attention for how well-rounded a player she is or how talented she is. So she's literally top 10. I was looking at Tina Charles with the rebounding, right? Which I'm going to talk about next. Candace is literally 2 spots underneath her. But right now, Candace moved into the 6th spot all-time. And this is all-time points, 6,284.
Thanks.
You know, she's going to be kind of like an NBA version when we go back in the 80s and we be like, man, wish I know about Sydney Moncrief and Alex English. She's going to be one of those for the WNBA. You like, who's that?
That's a perfect analogy.
And they be like, they were nice. Like, go back and talk. People that, exactly. So that's what she's going to kind of be.
Congrats to Tina Charles as well. Moved into 6th place all-time rebounding on the all-time rebounding list with 3,014. So, quick summer league update. What we're going to show you right now, Ronnie, guys. Pitts League results from this weekend. And then we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, some DC United, we got some rapid fire, whole lot going on. You're watching the Focus TV. Welcome back to the Focus TV. Breaks are fun. DC United, they drew with New England at home. Obviously, this is not what the Black and Red would like to do, is make a habit of drawing games at home. You want to get you have as many opportunities, you have a set amount of opportunities here to get 3 points at home. It wasn't a really good start. They didn't have the services of Luciano Acosta. He was suspended due to getting a red card previous contest. Teal Bunbury scored in the 4th minute off a counter for New England. Then in the 32nd minute, Carlos Gill put the visitors up to 0. Right before Carlos Gill goal, though, it could have been it easily could have been 3-0. But someone took a shot and literally deflected off Steven Merbaum. Billy Meade started moving in the opposite direction. He somehow got back in the right direction, got like maybe a fingernail on the glove of the ball, hits the post, does not go in. So, 3-0 is much different than 2-0. Soccer, kind of the general consensus is if you're down 2-0, there's a lot of time. 2-0 is manageable. 3-0, things get a little bit dicey. One of the things that did happen with Acosta's token suspension, DC United had to tweak their lineup a little bit. It wasn't a foreign lineup. They just had a couple different tweaks. In the past, when they went 5 at the back, playing with 3 center backs, they had Donovan Pines in the middle. That's a young kid from Maryland. Told you guys he just moves at a different frequency. This time he wasn't playing center back. They had Rihanna directly in center, Birnbaum to the left of him, and Pines was on the right, sliding underneath Leo Hara. That way, is also shared in the postgame presser, that way, if Hara went up to attack, to join the attack, Pines has enough athleticism to cover for him.
Sure.
Which helped make things a little bit easier. That literally, it was just some discomfort. You know, when you're kind of unsure of things, we hear in sports a lot of time. If you're thinking you can't play cleanly, that's kind of really what went into the first half for DC United. But luckily for them, in the 43rd minute, Paul Arriola is back. That is a good thing while Acosta is out. He was a terror, just really everywhere, getting on New England's nerves, making runs out wide, providing quality services into the box. He found Leo Hara in the 43rd minute, right for the goal, and Leo made a good run. One time they passed the keeper. So DC United went into the half just down 1 instead of 2. They looked different in the second half. They came out, they were aggressive. They weren't on their heels. New England's Wilfred Zybal was sent off in the 63rd minute, receiving his second yellow card, so that put New England at a disadvantage. They were playing 10 men down. But credits to New England, because obviously you go down a man, the opponents, they're going to be a little bit more aggressive. Keep in mind, they're a man up. They're also down 1 goal. New England's players, man, they sacrifice their bodies so much, getting away shots. Just have to respect their willingness to sacrifice. But in the 71st minute, it looked like DC United had a really good opportunity as Arriola had another very nice cross into the box. The ball got through. I don't think Rooney expected it to get through, and it glanced off the shin over the goal. Didn't get a chance to get a foot on it to beat the keeper. So, you know, they were creating quality looks. In the 86th minute, though, off the set piece, Rooney took it. Typically what they've been doing is they kind of go far post, or they kind of just look for their big guys, their aerial threats, being Donovan Pines and Birnbaum on set pieces. This time he offered the ball like just right into the center box. And Quincy Marikwa came in, volleyed it past the keeper, you know, to tie things at 2. They had some opportunities in stoppage time. Lucas Rodriguez missed the prime opportunity to make it 3-2. But the important thing is, you know, regardless of that, you know, how the game ended, they're still in second place in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, you would like to get 3 points, but things can be worse. Similar to, you know, to with the Mystics. It's not a bad thing during this stretch of the season to be in second place. They face FC Cincinnati this week on Thursday and Atlanta on Sunday. Both games are on the road. We're going to head into the second break. When we get back, yeah, Cardinal, rapid fire, man. Looking forward to what you got.
Okay. All right.
Welcome back to The Focus. I told y'all, man, we have fun during breaks. So we actually like to tell you, we talk. Things happen. But rapid fire, man, what you got for us this week? Where we started, I guess.
Since we on it, let's start with Madden 20.
Here we go.
Madden 20 ratings came out. You know, posted the top 20 overall. You know, just some notable names. Aaron Donald's 99. DeAndre Hopkins 99. It's just Patrick Mahomes 97. J.J. Watt's 97, Tom Brady 96. Yes, he's under Patrick Mahomes. I know a lot of people were like, what is going on? Jalen Ramsey 96, Trent Williams Redskins 95, Earl Thomas 95. But you know, what are some rankings you kind of scratching your head about? And what are some like, yeah, you're on point?
All right, so look, I get that Mahomes is on the cover, I really do, and that's wonderful. I think he's gonna be a very talented kid, obviously. He's literally a video game character, right?
Yeah.
And that's cool.
No doubt.
There's no reason he should be higher than Tom. All right, like we need to chill. Like last year did happen. Stop it. And that's just irrational.
Aaron Rodgers.
Let him get there. Aaron Rodgers too. Like we gotta, you know, we gotta stop some of these things. All right, y'all know I'm not the biggest Drew Brees fan or whatever. 92 is too low.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Russell Wilson. 91.
Yeah, disrespectful.
Beyond disrespectful.
They disrespecting my man.
And the crazy part to me is the cover guy literally. Okay, so it doesn't make any sense, right? The style of play is kind of similar, correct? Cool. 99, 92, 91. Somebody been doing it much longer. I'm typically used to it, man. Like it's just fun to me. I look forward to see. Like I'll try to make sure I remember to tell you guys what it looks like on the first update if you guys can remind me. Nah, seriously, I'll screenshot the first update. We'll come back in and we'll talk about it. But I'm not shocked, man. I'm anxious to hear the reasoning for some of the decisions this year.
Cam Newton 84.
Yeah, big back down there at 85. I'm not really yet.
Carson Wentz 82.
I'm just saying.
I guess injuries do matter.
Nate Sudfeld 57. Get ready, baby. Get ready, baby.
Rank it, dang.
57.
No, but yeah, I agree too. Drew Brees being too low. I don't know how everybody agree, but I think Andrew Luck being over Aaron Rodgers, I don't really like it. But at the same time, like we were discussing off air, I don't know what the basis is. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I do not play Madden or 2K, so I'm just going based off of the actual player in real life. But it kind of just makes you think, like, what are they basing it off of? Are they basing it off of last year's play, or are they basing it off of them as an overall player during their entire career? I would guess they're basing it off of last year.
They're supposed to.
Just how it looks. But yeah, some of them I don't know. Like, I love Le'Veon, but I haven't seen him play in a whole year, so I don't know.
But I guess from your standpoint, it's like, since you ain't seen him play, we ain't seen him play. Last time we had him, he was like
He's balling, yeah.
That makes sense.
Hey, the first thing they did was move this one from that year.
I mean, that makes sense. And this is me. I'm not a huge Christian McCaffrey fan. He's cool, don't get me wrong. But him and Saquon, like, tied for 91. I don't like that either.
They didn't want any controversy. They're like, both young backs here. I don't know.
Nah, because, I feel like Saquon was on a worse team, maybe. But
That's fair.
I don't really like that. That's just me.
But I'm trying to figure out
I like the wide receivers.
Stephon Diggs is being disrespected.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. Him, yeah.
Some of it's just funny.
I'm down for DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's great. Yeah.
I feel like I know the Eagles. I think the Eagles and Cowboys are the highest rated teams in the game this year, right? That's why, So I feel like that's why they did DeMarcus Lawrence dirty, where he's only 89. I think they.
That is disrespectful.
Like, I think it's disrespectful.
I can say that as an East fan. Yeah.
Shit, right?
Yeah.
I think it's literally because the team's already good, but again, it is what it is.
So wait, you said my team is rated what now?
89 or 88, one of the two. I think y'all have the highest rated. The Cowboys are right afterwards. Then the Chiefs or something like that.
When in SCEs?
Not in the game.
What?
Yeah.
I'm surprised too, though.
I'm sorry, man. Oh, Darius Slay being at 89 is beyond disrespectful. Just for the record, I know nobody watches the Lions, but it's not his fault. He's the guy they don't throw at.
Yeah.
I think Zach should be a little bit higher next to Travis, but you know, they love Travis.
That's another one. Adrian Amos and Honey Badger being 87 is disrespectful.
What did they have Sean Lee as? Get him off the entire list. It's like,
Hey, look, you better stop. You know your man's his replacement, his clone, the big one.
Yeah.
It's probably right up. It's probably right up there too.
and this is me talking as my brother and my father are Cowboys fans. They would probably agree.
Hey, look, man, that's what they do. But go ahead, Colonel.
All right, we're going to switch. We're going to go to the NBA side, 2K. Same difference, yep. You know, their ratings came out, and here's some of the top 20. LeBron James holds the #1 spot at 97, slightly ahead of Kawhi Leonard, who's at 97. You got Greek Freak at 96, KD at 96, Harden at 96, ahead of Steph Curry, 96. Anthony Davis, 7th at 94. Then Paul George at 93, Damian Lillard 92, Embiid 91 to round out the top 10. You got Klay Thompson 14th at 89. Donovan Mitchell at 18th at 88. Rudy Gobert 19th at 88. And the highest rated rookie, of course, is Zion at 81. And for local people, Brad Beal rating was an 88. He's behind Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and Blake Griffin. Just so, what are your thoughts on that?
As a 2K player, I am not shocked. Brad's been disrespected since he's been in the league on here.
Yes.
They do Clay dirty. That's like, this is normal. Steph
should be higher than Harden.
Should be higher as well.
KD should be he ain't the best.
Well, now look, so I feel like this was their one chance to knock Kev down, right? Because quote unquote the injury was to have some separation. Because like as the year went on, past couple years in 2K, like his rating's been right there, right? Steph is like par for the course. I'm used to that. What I thought was super disrespectful was the gap between Anthony Davis and every other big in this game.
Jokic.
I wasn't a fan of that. They did call Anthony Towns dirty yet again. Rudy Gobert should at least be a 90, man. Like,
you know what, man?
What's up?
I'm not giving Karl Anthony Towns all that praise like
I'm
that.
not either.
Okay.
You gotta get the team in the playoffs, dog.
That's
If
right.
you that dog,
I could see him maybe at a 90.
you got to, man. Like, look, 89 is fair for what individually. Yes, he's talented as hell, he all that, but if you that dog, if you that dude, you should be able to carry them, get in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. If you was doing that consistently, so I want a lot of people in the uproar about that, but nah, look what Russ did when KD left the first year, got MVP.
That's true.
See what I'm saying? As a point guard.
No, you're right. That's
So
fair.
Bill was disrespected because even though they ain't getting the playoffs, they're in the playoffs. He's been in the playoffs before, and his averages career-wise are better in the playoffs than in the regular season. And then last year, he just took his game to a whole new level where you could say he's a complete guard now, and he's one of the top 3 shooting guards in there. And he should at least be in the 90s, though. Like 88. I don't even see C.J. McCollum in this joint, like in the top 2. It's like
They've done Clay like that for a minute. They've done Brad like that for a minute.
and I have to go there. Oh boy, here we go.
It's about 97.
Yeah, man.
Here we go.
We gotta go there, dog. Like, how you ahead of Kawhi? He got the chip and Finals MVP,
I don't understand it.
and your team didn't make the playoffs. I'm just being real.
He probably still nursing his groin injuries.
It's 2K, man. Like, I'm not shocked.
You don't play defense no more. Don't that equate? And I'm just being real.
Some people get legacy grades on here. Both games.
So it's a lifetime achievement type of deal. Cool.
Hey, depending on what's going on.
It's the
this
Legends
year.
version? Because don't they got like a Legends version? Of
I mean, the
2K
ratings
now?
don't change. The only thing that changes with the version is the stuff that comes with it. But
Oh, okay.
nah, like I'm not shocked. I thought they were going to at least have a little chill and make them underneath Kawhi, but apparently, no chill for 2K. So
You're not- I'm not surprised.
you got.
But I don't even play 2K, and I'm not
James
surprised.
ahead of Steph. All they do is lose to them in the playoffs.
Exactly, man. It makes no sense, man. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I guess what they try to do to make up for it was like, I think some people, they try to like, what they've done with the 2 licenses from Golden State is they try to like find a way to like fine tune it because the shooting for them compared to everybody else. So like Steph, I think Steph is the only dude in the league, only dude this year with a pure 99 rating 3, and then like Clay's right behind him. So I think they try to shut that down a little bit because like there's nothing you can do about those 2. But again, I'm not shocked.
I just need I need the summary of how this came to be.
So yeah, I got y'all, man. I'm gonna screenshot the first updates. Just remind me. And also, 2K, let me know what the WNBA ratings are.
Yeah, we are waiting
I literally
for
don't care
that.
about this part. Sorry, but what else we got? Man?
All right, we're gonna go ahead. Philadelphia 76ers and star Ben Simmons have agreed to a 5-year, $170 million maximum extension. Simmons' agent Rich Paul confirmed to Brian Windhorst of ESPN. The sides heading until mid-October to finalize the extension of Simmons' rookie deal, but Paul and Sixers general manager Elton Brand completed the deal significantly sooner. Deserved. Some people feel like he's not. What are your thoughts on it?
I always say when it comes down to stuff like this, if they got the money to give it to him and they feel like he deserve it, he should get it. It's his rookie deal, and it would be crazy for them to let him go. I don't know. I mean, like I said, the money is the money. The cap goes up every year. They make more money every single year, so it's always going to seem like an astronomical number. I'm just waiting for him to get a consistent jump shot, and then I'm gonna be like completely sold. But you know, 107, you get 107 million, you ain't even got a jump shot. That's got to tell somebody something. But I'm not surprised. I knew that, you know, this whole trust the process thing has been going on for however many years now. They're not gonna let it slip away at this point, and they're trying to do everything they can to continue in an uptrack. So I'm not surprised at all. You know, the money's always gonna come.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like it's something they probably felt they had no choice to do. What is he, 22 years old?
Something around there is very young.
I mean, I think it's one of those things where it's like, in a year or two, if he continues to develop, you're not going to think about that money. You might think it's a deal in a year or two, but I can understand people at this time being like, because of the flaws in his game, that he's not worth that. At the same time, there's a little bit more to basketball than just shooting. Obviously, he has to get that fixed. I mean, you can't afford to lose him. I think that's just is what the market is his price is his price.
He'll be 23 on Saturday.
Obviously, they had to pay him, like y'all said. They can't just let him go for nothing. But it's like you said, man. I mean, yeah, fine, he can't shoot, but there's a lot of players that can shoot that can't impact the game like he can.
Sure.
That are getting paid. I think people just fall in love with that because that's the flashy thing in the game. Like for me, I look at all around game, how many ways you impact the game and how high of a level you impact the game in those areas. That's how I always evaluate a player. Like, you know, it's just, you know, I hate the other side of the coin, like James Harden, he can shoot the hell out the ball, but, you know, defensively, you know, good luck. So, you know, but he's a triple-double threat. You can't just that's not easily replaceable at 6'10", you know, 16, you know, average 16, 17 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists a game. He's a very good defender. I know people don't pay attention to defense, which bothers me. That wins games. I don't care what nobody says. It's not just putting the ball in the hole. It's true they say that sells tickets, but you got to be able to stop the other person from putting the ball in the hole. And if you're not doing that, it hurts. So without being a great shooter at all, a non-existent shooter where he really don't attempt shots, he's still pretty efficient scoring-wise. You know, he averages 17, and he's shooting 55% from the field for his career. So he's doing something, like they're not stopping him. You know, whereas like he averaging 5 points, so something. And meanwhile, he's getting guys involved. He's playing good defense. He's rebounding the ball. The easiest thing to fix is your jump shot. So as long as he's willing to work, where the Sixers are the main people that know his work ethic, as long as he's willing to work, hey, well, yeah, you lock him up because you don't want him going to another team and you looking stupid having to deal with this dude possibly be in championship contention with another team, and you have to answer questions like, why did you re-sign him? So, you know, that's just, you know, my take on it.
The other thing I think, just to add on, like, I think what's going to help, I look forward to, like, that partnership he now has with somebody like Josh Richardson. I think that's going to be really good for him, too. You know, I mean, you know how we talk about with Giannis is surrounded by nothing but shooters? They're not that far in Philly right now with some of the things they've done to that roster with that starting five. From having shooters around that says, obviously, like Giannis, that needs to get something going, consistent mid-range jumper. And that's more than enough. But also, like Giannis, they impact the game in so many ways, it's just not that deep.
But the difference between Ben and Giannis is that Giannis will attempt the shot. Ben won't even shoot. So that's just something he got to get in the gym and get. You know, I heard he's not playing the Olympics or World Cup or whatever. He's not playing for Australia because he's going to focus on getting better, which is cool. I mean, that's actually smart and saving his, just signed a big deal, saving his body fresh for a long playoff haul. So, yeah, that's just smart for right now, and I don't blame him. Moving on, next question. Usain Bolt called out his fellow Jamaican Olympic medalists, Johan Blake and Warren Ware, as well as the next generation of countrymen who have been slower than the top U.S. sprinters in the 2 years since Bolt retired. Bolt said, "I walked away from the sport and no one's there to pick up the pieces, keep the level. It's embarrassing for the country. Every time I see people, they say, come back, we need you. But you have so much talent in Jamaica." Led by Christian Coleman and Justin Gatlin, the U.S. could sweep the 100 medium podium at the World Championships in late September. Jamaica hasn't missed an Olympic or world podium in the men's 100 meters since 2004. He elaborated, he kept going. He said, "I don't think it is going to get any better because I think these youngsters are a little bit spoiled," Bolt said of his countryman, Corn Reuters. He's talking about Blake Ware, fellow veteran Kimar Bailey Cole, and a few other sprinters. He said, Mills took, because they fired their coach that worked with Bolt as well, Glenn Mills, and Bolt said, you fired Mills. Mills took you to the highest level that you've ever been. They probably won't get back to that level, but he has brought you there. If you don't work hard and you don't train hard, how can you be great? When Warren Ware got to that level that he is, I remember Warren Ware taking days off to go to Florida, and fellow sprinter Jason Young just randomly taking a week off from training, frolicking, and just relaxing. Who does that in season? Bolt finish with this. These youngsters, they feel like because they got the contract, they feel like they made it. That is the problem. No one wants to listen. No one has the fight in them or the anger to be great. If you don't want it, then it don't matter how much I speak. I've spoken to all these young athletes from Bailey Cole to Blake, all of them. I've had conversations, you know what I mean? They don't want to hear it. What are your thoughts on him calling out pretty much the next generation of Jamaican runners?
I mean, I feel two ways about it. It's cool because if that's how you feel about it, you should call them out. And I do agree that some younger generation don't have the same work ethic that people have had in the past in the sports. But on the other side of it, I'm like, what else? What are you doing to help them? You are the leader for them, going forward or whatever. Even though you're not running anymore, but are you actively helping these players? Like, are you actively trying to do stuff and they're not responding to you or not, listening to what you have to say? But at the end of the day, everybody's reign comes to an end at a certain time. It is what it is. Maybe they're not as talented as you think they are. Maybe they're not as talented as they think they are. It is what it is. I think it's just, it is. I just really think it is what it is. Like, either they're going to get it together and win for themselves or they not. And America can win. We can win sometimes. I mean, I know he fast, but I don't have an issue with it either way, honestly.
I mean, I'm cool with it. Like, he's done it. Probably one of the greatest they've ever had.
Definitely.
The world's ever seen. That level of dominance, he can speak however he wants to speak. As for those dudes, we talk all the time about people cutting corners, things of that nature. In sports, is these days, period, no matter what it is. And I mean, if this is one of those things, man, like, you spoken, right? There's nothing else you can do. You sit there and they're just gonna reap what they sowed. They're gonna put the work in and they not. But if, just like that having Blake Mills was around, he was one of those, one of those ingredients to them being the highest level they've ever been. They know that too. So if they're okay with letting him go, then they gotta be okay with what comes with it. And if that means L's and having an answer to your fellow countrymen about the way you're representing them, hey man, it comes with the territory.
I love it. It's way overdue across borders. It's too much catering to youngins' egos and a little hiccups and stuff like. Nah, man, you don't know nothing, man. He created a high-ass standard. I get it, but he created a high standard. You have to reach that and maintain that. If you're not going to work to try to achieve that, then you need to get out the way. It's a waste of time. And I like what he's saying because of the high standard that he created, these guys are coming along eating off of that and taking it for granted. Like he said, it ain't nothing he could say about somebody taking a week off during the season to go to Florida on vacation and stuff like that. Well, you had all off season to do that. It's time to work, dog. You know what I'm saying? He did that. He made that sacrifice. That's why he became Usain Bolt. And we need that more. We need more of this across all sports because it's just too many youngsters coming up thinking that they haven't made already, and it's like, nah. When the real world hits you, when I feel like you get to the league and it's a dog-eat-dog world, they don't know how to handle it. You see what I'm saying? And even on the NBA side, you see a lot of rookies that sat out. I'm not talking about the ones that's injured, but a lot of people like they just sat out a summer league for they need to get acclimated to the NBA. What better way to get acclimated than not playing? Some of the former players on Twitter tweeted out like, y'all gonna see how real it is. Yeah. I know, y'all gonna see how real it is when we see y'all during the season. I'm gonna just tell y'all that, because even with summer league, it's hell. So we need more of that across sports. We need more vets and people who've achieved great things, or people who are in a position of power to hold these youngsters accountable. Otherwise, the standard will fall so low. You know, who will care about the sport, or who will care about that program? And you can't allow that to happen. And then, you know, you see that everywhere. So, you know, I love what he said.
I'm definitely with you. You want one more question?
Yeah. Golden State Warriors general manager Bob Myers said Monday that his team did not acquire all-star guard D'Angelo Russell just to flip him in a different deal. He said, I know it's been written and speculated. That's fine, Myers said Monday. That's what everybody's job is to do. We didn't sign him with the intention of just trading him. We haven't seen him play in our uniform yet, and a lot of people have us already trading him. That's not how we're viewing it, but let's just see what we have. Let's just see what he is. Let's see how he fits. Part of our job in the front office and coaching staff and organization is how does it all work? So much of our sport, at least, and maybe other sports, is what are you doing next? We got to figure out what we're doing now. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think that's a great way to look at it. A lot of people did speculate that, you know, they don't feel like he'll fit. They don't feel like he'll be there for the long haul. But one thing that I love about Golden State is their whole culture, you know, from their front office to their coaching staff to their players. They kind of give me a Greg Popovich-esque type of deal. Like we've talked about in the past, how they've cultivated young players that have come in and they have, you know, soared beyond measures. And I think that could be the same for D'Angelo. He had a tough shake in LA. You see the talent that he had when he was in Brooklyn, you know, so I can see them working with him and fitting him into their system. I don't know how, I don't know what they're gonna do, but that's what they're paid to do. They're paid to, you know, draft players that they think that they can work into their system and make their team better. And D'Angelo also definitely has the talent. You know, it's just a matter of fact of where he's going to fit in their scheme. But I think that's a great way for them to look at it. Like, they haven't seen him play. They haven't seen him in their system yet. You know, he could get in their system and flourish right off the back, and they're like, this is the guy we need. We need to keep him. You know, or he could get in the system, they feel like it's not right, and maybe they do end up flipping it. But for them, I think it's good that they're not going into the situation with that in their mind. They're going into the situation to say, he's our player, he's here, we're going to work with him, we're going to figure out if this is going to be a good fit for us.
Yeah, I think it's something where, like, obviously Bob had to speak on it because he was asked. I like what Bob said. I mean, I believe it for what it is. Keep pressure on the kid. Yeah, you don't have to jump out there like how you were talking a little bit earlier, like literally a couple minutes ago. Yeah, of course he could come out and be like, we love him, he's gonna be here forever, yada yada, whatever. Keep pressure on him. Let him know, like, this is a championship culture. This is different. We obviously saw you knew how to behave in a structured environment in Brooklyn, right? This is another step up from Brooklyn. Yeah, the pressure's on you. Golden State moves differently. Get to find out what the kid's made of. And as far as the fit stuff, and I'm not talking about you, just period, with some of the, like, the hot takes and all of that, I think it's very overstated. It sounds about as dumb as the Golden State has died thing.
Yeah.
Because to me it doesn't make sense. Golden State died, but the West is wide open. Kind of contradicts itself, right? I think it fits. I don't think it's rocket science. I think it's going to be easy for those pieces. Obviously, we won't know how fully integrates until play gets back. But yeah, I don't think having a 6'5" guard that can dribble, pass, and shoot in that system is going to hurt when we've seen all the other things that come through that system. Where what's their biggest thing? As long as you can dribble, pass, and shoot, you can fit in this scheme. Cool.
I was about to say the same exact thing. Can he dribble, pass, and shoot? Yes, he can. So he should fit. The only question mark might be defensively.
Yeah.
But you know, defense is just about 1-2 most of the time, man. You don't really have to be all crazy. I mean, it's crazy athletic, athletes that can't defend. It's just about 1-2 and IQ. You really have to be locked in at all times defensively, because you know it don't take much for you to look stupid out there. And it ain't just off the bounce and stuff, crossovers. You just get beat back door for easy layups, and you shouldn't. But that's the only thing I'm looking at. But like you said, it's a championship culture. You know, he got time to work out with the guys and get acclimated and get ready and get his feet wet. And honestly, the great thing about him, I think it's gonna help speed up him getting acclimated, not having Clay there.
Yep.
Because I think if Clay was there, he would kind of take a backseat to Clay and stuff and just fall back. But they gonna need him to hoop this year and for them to stay afloat.
Yep.
So then when Clay get back, it's easy to play with Clay, because Clay can just catch and shoot all day. He defend, he do the intangible things. He don't really need the ball in his hands like that, except when he letting it fly. So you got two guys that can do that, and can score, and just play his game. You know, it's just that, and just come with a different mindset. Like, we here to try to win championships. Other than Brooklyn, hopefully we make the playoffs. Now it's like, let's contend, let's rumble. And if he do that, he defend, he's unselfish, he play team basketball and play his game, he'll be fine.
Yeah. And he's still young. He's only 23 too.
Yeah, and like, this is the crazy part. I know, like, wow. I think the part that bothers me with like D'Lo, or just period, what's happening like with some young players, depending on where they go, is people just harp on like the old stuff. Where I understand the stuff with LA, right? But in the same token, we were talking about the past. Brooklyn is the most recent example of the past, correct? Brooklyn was a solid defensive team. It's not like they were the worst defensive team in the entire league, and he was just some sort of sieve out there, right? They'll be okay. You're young. If I feel like it's one of those things where they're gonna find out real quick if it's demanded out of you. That's totally different than being somewhere where it's suggested that you do it. It's going to be demanded in Golden State. Same way, an article about the young boy in their team pool with the workouts. Yeah, you can score like everything on that end.
Can you play
the
defense?
willingness to play defense. And half the time, like you said, just the effort. It's gonna be, you got a whole Draymond behind you, dude.
Yeah, he's on. That's what I'm saying. There's leaders out there that's gonna make sure you strap up. You have no choice, and that's just what I feel about it, man. You know, and people hop on the old stuff because it's negativity. That's the first thing people throw out about anything. You know, man, he can't do that, or man, remember in LA, he not gonna fit. Like even Russ and Harden, the same thing. They not gonna fit. They both want the ball. You don't think they gonna have to sacrifice though? You really you really don't think they gonna come together and just be like they could play the same style they did at the very last season? That makes no sense.
So you telling me two playmakers can't understand that they can play make for each other? Like, that's how stupid.
Two playmakers that didn't previously play together at that.
Yeah.
I was told that since he was a six man, six men don't play with starters. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Ask Lou Will.
I'm just telling you what I was told. I know nothing but what I was told. But thank you guys for tuning in as always. Get over to FindusMag.com or MondoSports.com. And probe episode coming this week for one Tiana Hawkins, the first one for the WNBA. Please make sure you check that out. She's not getting nearly enough love for her contributions to a team that's definitely trying to maintain and establish a winning culture. So see you guys next week, same time, same place.